So it's 3:30. So I think we should start. Okay. So myself, Porna Banerjee, Dr. Porna Banerjee, convener of IPR Cell, Intellectual Property Rights Cell of Raja Peary Mohan College. And the other two joint conveners of this cell are also with us, Professor Bandana Mondol and Professor Devashish Noskar. And uh, the TCS, Teachers Council Secretary, Dr. Pallab Gayan is also will be with us. The coordinator of IQAC, Internal Quality Assurance Cell, Dr. Sanjukta Bhattacharya Madam is with us, and Assistant Coordinator of IQAC, Dr. Krishnanko Shekhar Gayan is also with us, and the other members and students are also present. And sir, welcome to you, sir. I wish a very good afternoon to all of you. As we all know that the basic objective of this cell, intellectual property rights cell, is to spread awareness among the students and the faculty members uh, regarding patent, trademark, and copyright for their own innovations, which would provide recognitions to their hard work of the young innovators. So that is why the IPR cell, in collaboration with IQAC, Raja Peary Mohan College, has been continuously organizing seminars and webinars on various topics relating to this IPR. And the basic objective is to impart knowledge among our students regarding this IPR. So today also we have organized this seminar to disseminate knowledge about referencing, copyright, etc. among the participants. So today we have among us Dr. Sandeep Pathak sir, Deputy Librarian IISER Bhopal, who would be enlightening us on the topic referencing, citation and copyright. The topic is so relevant that not only the students but also we, the teachers, who are publishing our research work in various journals would also be benefited a lot. Now, may I request Mrs. Shravani Das, librarian of our college RPMC, to formally introduce our today's speaker, Dr. Pathak sir, to the participants of the program. Over to you, Shravani.
Thank you, Porna. Dr. Sandeep Kumar Pathak is a science graduate and having a PhD in information science from University of Pune. Dr. Pathak is currently working as Deputy Librarian and in charge, Central Library, Indian Institute of Science Education and Research, Bhopal, since May 2013, and instrumental is in setting up state-of-art modern library of IISER Bhopal. He has rich working experience of 24 years. Prior to join IISER, Dr. Pathak has worked with IIT Mandi, IIT Kharagpur, IUCAF Pune, Infinite Center Gandhinagar, and Institute of Plasma Research Gandhinagar. Dr. Pathak has supervised more than 20 projects on library automation and RFID implementation in various academic institutions. Dr. Pathak has published 60 plus articles in different journals, national and international conference proceedings, and edited 3 conference proceedings. He is an editor of 4 international journals and reviewer of 3 peer-reviewed journals. Dr. Pathak is a recipient of SLA Asian Librarian Award 2014, Taylor and Francis Young Librarian Award 2014, MPLA Innovative Librarian Award 2017, MPLA Academic Librarian Award 2018, MPLA Special Jury Award 2019. He has also received second best research paper award by ASIS&T SIG 3 Maryland, USA in 2008. He is a National Library Advisory Board member of 5 major academic publishers. He is a member of Board of Studies of 2 state universities. He has been invited as speaker as several prestigious forums such as Clarivat Web of Science, ACS, RSC, LCVR, Willy, etc. He was also a member of committee set up by MOE's E-Sudh-Sindhu National Consortium. His current research includes data mining, e-resource management, automation of library applications, setting up state-of-art modern academic library system, national consortium formation, and working on one national, one subscription movement. Welcome, sir, and thank you, Porna.
Sir, you can start your.
Okay, thank you so much. So before I start, I give my sincere thanks to Shravani ma'am for introducing me, and I would like to congratulate first of all Raja Peary Mohan College, for having this one-day national webinar, and especially big thanks to the principal sir Dr. Sudip Kumar Chakrabarty for having idea about having this workshop, because it is a very relevant topic as Shravani has mentioned. Referencing, citation and copyright. I'll also cover in this topic the plagiarism, because that is also very, very important. So, and I also thank Dr. Parna Banerjee ma'am for organizing this workshop. So I, when Shravani ma'am talked to me, I think 3 weeks back about this webinar, I was very happy because I was in Kharagpur. So I remember my days, when I was in Bengal for almost 6 years. I joined from 2004 to 11. I was in Kharagpur. So as we know, this we will be talking about referencing, which is very, very important. I'll off my video because it will have you will have more better audio quality. So first we'll talk about referencing, which is we know as Dr. Shravani has also mentioned that it is a very integral part of our research, our any manuscript. We have to write a lot of references, all those things. So we'll talk about those references, bibliographies, then also about citation, because you must have heard about how many citations you have, what is your H index, what is your impact factors, right? So all those things are related to the this citation only. Then copyright. Copyright is a very crucial issue. I got lot of queries during COVID pandemic. कि सर ये e-book available है online, can we share with our faculty members, can we share with our students, So all those query questions I'll be answering, and if you have any question related to this, you can note down your questions. I'll be happy to answer. And I'll also cover the plagiarism, and I'll also, if there is a time permit, I'm ready to give live demo of 2 softwares, Turnitin and Orkund. Orkund is now known as a original software. So you must have seen, UGC is taking lot of initiative. Nowadays they have provided access to one of the software, that is a Orkund. But let me tell you, that was based on the global tender. So it's not necessary you will always have access to this software. New name of the Orkund is original. Now I just want to update that this has also been bought by the Turnitin group. So now this group is having softwares Turnitin, Authenticate, and this original. So you see, UGC has first issued the guidelines. You must have seen about the UGC guidelines, right? Level 0, level 1, level 2, level 3 for PhD thesis, for publications. Then also UGC issued the academic this guideline, integrity guidelines, all those things. So basically now because what happens whenever there was a rejection of 65% research papers from India. 65% rejection was very high. So that was the reason this UGC has come up with this policy. There are some, and I feel it is good for us, because अब हमें पता है कि क्या करने से क्या होगा, what are the things, like we know level 0 it should be less than 10% similarity, right? So we need to make sure that our similarity is not more than 10%. So it is good that we know the rules, कि क्या what is the offense against all those things, so that we should be more careful. And I always we have a 650 research scholars at IISER Bhopal. So I think you must be knowing there is an IISER in Kolkata, also in Kalyani. So same kind of, you know, that there are 7 IISERs in India. One of them is in Bhopal, and that is the thing. We need to see that what are the guidelines in our favor. And I also announce here that if you want to check any your manuscript, you know, on Urkonda you can always, you know, talk to Sravani ma'am, and I'll be happy to help them. Now I'd like to share my PPT. Just give me a second. Sravani ma'am can confirm, is my, you know, this PPT is visible?
Yes, sir, it is absolutely visible.
Okay, thank you so much. So, so now let us start with our topic, that is a referencing, citation, copyright. I also added here the plagiarism. So I'll also try to cover plagiarism. If you are aware of this topic, then I'll be happy to take question answer from your side. Questions I'll be happy to answer. So now you see referencing. So I think we know every research scholars, right? Even for the faculty members. Faculty members, I always say, you know, they are very busy. Faculty members, they have a teaching, they have a administrative responsibility, they have to also do the research. So it is the responsibility of the students, research students, even the teacher, you know, to learn new what is going on, new research tools, what are the, you know, things can help you to expedite your research process. So one of them is the reference management tool. So why referencing? You know, when you write a manuscript or you write any book chapter or book, so you need to, you know, when you write manuscript, you need to read a lot of, you know, other academic resources, right? And then when you read anything, it is your duty to mention them in our referencing part. Whenever you are citing something or referencing something, you need to mention. And it is good also because, you know, in manuscript, if you write some references, it gives a weightage to your, you know, manuscript, right? So as of now, you know, it should not happen like you write only 2-3 reference or you write more than 1,000 reference. It should be a balance. So whatever you are reading, you are going through, that you have made a use of those ideas, you should mention in a reference. Okay, if you're not making any idea, just you know, gone through, so that you can put in the bibliography. You should not put in the reference. Those things we will discuss. So as a research scholars, you know, when you start working on your research problem, you need to go through a lot of references, right? Lot of data, large amount of data. So now there are techniques how you can deal with those data. So those, for that it is called reference management tools. You must have heard about, you know, the Mendeley, Zotero, all those things. So those, so these are the open source softwares where, you know, you can organize your information, right? So I hope few of you must be knowing about this Zotero or Mendeley. Zotero gives 300 MB space, where the Mendeley gives the 2 GB space, right? So those things one need to know. For example, you see this is the manuscript, one of the research paper, right? And when you go in the end, you will see differences, right? So any of you who can, you know, tell this what is this reference style? Anybody can tell? Anybody has any idea? Okay, so see, this is one of the styles. So this you can do automatically. These are the, you know, references have been mentioned in this manuscript. Now, am I audible, Shravani ma'am?
Yes, of course.
Yes, sir.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. So now let us go one by one. First is what is reference, है ना? एक होता है हम जब भी कोई manuscript, अच्छा एक चीज हमेशा याद रखिए कि you know, जब तक manuscript हम जब तक भी कोई हम लिख रहे हैं, you know, any document, any text, till it gets published, that it will be called as a manuscript. Once it gets published, then it will called a publication, whether it is a research publication, publication in conference proceeding, book chapter, right? So what is reference? So in academic and scholarship, reference or bibliographical reference is a piece of information provided in a footnote or bibliography of a written work such as book. ये पता है आपको, है ना? Book, article, essay, right? और referencing क्या होता है? This whole process, where you mention the reference. That process is called referencing. And again I will tell, referencing or giving referencing in the process. Giving reference is very necessary because it gives the weightage up to your manuscript. देखिए अभी एक और नया कॉन्सेप्ट आया है, दैट इज आइजेन फैक्टर. आप लोगों को पता होगा, जैसे एक पता होगा इम्पैक्ट फैक्टर, राइट? व्हाट इज इम्पैक्ट फैक्टर? सपोज फॉर एग्जांपल देयर इज ए जर्नल सेल इन बायोलॉजिकल साइंसेस, है ना? सेल का इम्पैक्ट फैक्टर 40 है, 40, इट इज वेरी हायर साइड. So what does it mean? अगर किसी का impact factor 40 है, that means whatever articles have got published in that journal, right? They at least every article is having a minimum 40 citations. 40 citations उस articles को मिले हुए हैं. That is called a impact factor 40. तो लेकिन ऐसा जरूरी नहीं. मैथ्स में even there is a 2 impact factors considered very high. Mathematics में because there are number of articles are very less. You must be knowing doing research also is difficult in mathematics. Getting PhD students also is very difficult in mathematics, right? So anyway, so first is the impact factor. Second point is there is a H index, right? So what is H index? So H index जैसे बोलते हैं ना, what is the H index of faculty member? तो impact factor होता है, impact factor is for any of the journal, और H index is for any of the faculty member or any of the author. Suppose there is H index of 4, H index of 9 for Dr. Parna Banerjee. 9. What does it mean? That there are minimum 5. There are 9 articles. She might be having a 20 articles, but there are minimum 9 articles which are having more than 9 citations. So her H index is 9, right? Okay. Now tell me, you can raise your hand digitally. How many of you are having a Google Scholar ID? I want to see. How many of you are having a Google Scholar ID? How many of you are having a Orchid ID? How many of you are having a researcher ID? How many of you are having a profile in this fix here, impact story, judos? So what I'm trying to say, you should have a your profile in different places. So what is the advantage? You will have a more visibility to your research papers, right? And that is how it attracts more citations. So in end of my presentation, you can ask me how to increase the citations, what need to be done, to increase the citations. So you see the second point, it properly credit the originator of ideas, theories and research findings, right? So that is the reason. So referencing is used to tell the reader where ideas from other sources have been used. So this is an ethical practice. Whenever we get ideas from some sources, we should put there, right? Coming to the citation. So citation, I think every day we know now it's very popular, right? Citation. The faculty member keep asking how many citation you have. Who is the faculty member having highest number of citations? So what is citation mean? Who is citing your paper? Who is reading your paper? Then who is citing your paper, right? So citation is a reference to the source of information used in your research. Now let me give the clear one example of citation. Suppose Dr. Parna Banerjee has written one paper, for example, on history of Salt Lake, Kolkata city, right? Dr. Parna Banerjee has written one paper, and I am also working on the same area. So when I am also writing paper and her paper is already got published, so I will cite her paper in the references when I write a manuscript. So when my paper get published, she will get one citation. Okay. Acha, you make sure that her paper was also in UGC care list. My paper was also published in UGC care list. I think everybody knows about UGC care list. You know about predatory journals, right? If you need discussion, any doubt, we will discuss during our question answer, right? So what is citation? Anytime you can directly quote unquote, है ना? Cite बोलते हैं ना कि आप किसी का जब cite करते हैं, any paragraph, so you say quote unquote. Mahatma Gandhi says quote unquote, right? So in text citation we follow. And one more thing, if you cite anybody's, some ideas and we may quote unquote. So these plagiarism softwares, they also do not count as a similarity, right? Because we have quote unquote means I have, suppose I take one paragraph from Dr. Sudip Kumar Chakrabarty paper, so I will quote unquote, so I have given a credit to him only. So there is no question that I am doing any duplicate similarity, right? So that case software will also not count. But yes, if you if you do not put quote unquote, but you mention in the references, then software will count as a similarity, right? So if person is reading manually, he knows everything, that is fine. But as a robot, because softwares are robot, so if there is not quote unquote, it will assume that it is your original work, right? And then it will show as a similarity. But as I say always, like if there is an original idea, like Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru was the first Prime Minister of India, everybody knows. So there is no quote unquote is required. E equal to mc square, Einstein equation. You need not, give quote to anyone. So those things are exempted, which are universally known, right? So direct quotation should be surrounded by quote marks, quotation marks, and are generally used when the idea you want to capture is the best expressed by source. Now coming to the citation styles, what are the citation styles? Because when we write references nowadays, every publisher is having their own citation style, right? Elsewhere. So इसमें होता क्या दो चीज है. There are two things. If you are writing a PhD thesis or BS your MSc project, you need to follow the citation style decided by your university. Like Raja Peary Mohan College must have decided that all the PhD thesis should be written whether in MLA, APA style or any other style, just to maintain the uniformity. But in case of publisher, like every publisher is having their own citation style. For example, IEEE, they have a citation style for their every journal. Every journal is having their own journal style. So these are the Modern Language Association, MLA, American Psychological Association, and Chicago. These are the very popular styles. There are other citation styles like Harvard, Cell, Elsewhere, Nature, Taylor and Francis, Cambridge, and Oxford. So how do I choose the citation style? So here I would say you need not worry. In case of university, your college or university must have defined some citation style that you need to follow. In case of research papers, publisher will tell you where your manuscript has got accepted, that which style you need to follow. Okay. So for example, this is the citation style of APA. So you see here first author, then year, then title, then subtitle, then edition, then publisher. If you see MLA, Modern Language Association, you will see here author is first, there also author is first, here, then title in quote unquote. Here see it was a year, right? APA style, but MLA you see there is no year. So then there is a pagination detail here. Here was no pagination detail, right? So this is how it gets changes. But as I say, you need not worry about those styles. IEEE always have a numeric number. Okay. Now coming to the bibliography. So don't get confused about among references and bibliographies. References basically what are the sources you have used. You have taken an original idea from those papers. You should put those papers as a references. But bibliography is relevant things like you do, like review literature, lot of articles. You just read. You don't take any idea, but you just read. So those junk you can put in the bibliography. Now coming to this reference management system, like how to manage these references. So as we know, as I said, there are a lot of references. Being a research scholar, you have a lot of other works. So better you need to manage references online. Like I did my PhD from Pune University in 2002. That time nobody was there to guide us about this reference management softwares or SPSS or other tools, other research support tools. But now you are lucky that you are getting exposure, and you have a program coordinator like Dr. Parna and Surabhi ma'am who took initiate to get exposure of such databases where you can think upon, you can work on those things. So what are reference management? What are the advantage of reference software? You can collect references online, you can organize online, you can insert, you can create bibliographies, and you can also change the reference system. Right. There are very, but the popular one is the Zotero, Mendeley, and RefWorks. These are the very common. The first one is Zotero. Zotero, as I says, this is the dashboard of Zotero main page. This is, you can see login button. So these software is having a online version as well as the offline desktop version. So you need to first create a login, means online version you will have. It will ask you for the sign in. Once you sign in, you get your, then you download this desktop version. There you can see the download version. After downloading, you can open Zotero, the software, by the same credential, same login password which you have used for the online version with the same, okay? And then you can let us shrink also. So whatever you incorporate references in the online version, you can always put into the desktop version. There is a plugin also you need to download. It will come automatically on the browser. This is the desktop version of the Zotero. Here you can see the shrink button. The moment you click shrink button, automatic online references will come in the folder format, right? So you need to give some time, to, because this I take generally dedicated class about how to use Zotero, Mendeley, right? So I'm just giving the glimpse of about you. If you put or you see the videos on YouTube, how to install Zotero, how to install Mendeley. And if you still feel any problem, I have given my email ID. You can always share the screenshot. I'll be happy to help you. So what happens once you install this Zotero, automatic in your MS Word, this Zotero will come, right? Automatic it will come here. Now, when you write any manuscript here, suppose first paragraph, then you can, put that insert any particular references from your online version of Mendeley or Zotero. And once everything is done, all the citation in, then you just say insert bibliography. Automatic all the bibliographies will come at the end of that. So this is for the Zotero. This is EndNote will also come here, and Mendeley comes under references. So as I said, Zotero gives the space of 300 MB. This is EndNote. So EndNote you need not worry because it comes along with the Web of Science. So there I will not spend much time. We get EndNote because we are a member of eSource Sindhu consortium. Now this is again open source software, that is a Mendeley. So Mendeley also you can make, it gives the space of 2 GB space. This is the main page of Mendeley. Sign in means for the online account, or this creative, then if you download here, then it will for the desktop version. Like I have put my login ID and password. Now this Mendeley page is on. You can see here the library. So there is a library, you can upload, your resources over there. Mendeley you want to download, you just click here first page, and you go to the Google and just say download Mendeley, and this desktop version will come. You just install and this will come. So whatever you folder you have, if you shrink button, if you put the shrink button, automatically all your references will come in the desktop version. Okay. And suppose you have a project report you want to have add, though it is not published anywhere, you can manually add, and you can add, and you can make a reference. Any reference you just double click, you can add it. And one more thing, many times people ask, suppose you want to give a reference of the website of MHRD, Minister of Education, or anything. You just the open website, click on the that's the Mendeley or Zotero the signage, and then it will be included over there. So you see under references, you will see the option for Mendeley. This is the logo of Mendeley, open Mendeley. So basically insert citation, insert bibliography. Okay. And here you see nature. So like there are many styles, right? So you need not initially worry about the styles. Once you do everything, typing everything, then later on you can put. Now you see carefully, suppose this is a paper, research paper. I am just telling you how to use a Mendeley. So this is a research paper. There are 3 paragraphs. First paragraph I took from this resource. It is in nature, so it is showing like this style. Okay. So what I will do, I will this thing, then I will click here, insert citation, and then I select the paper from the online repository. I double click, one will come. Then this paper, I again say insert citation. Suppose this was from this Pandey Madam paper, this is from the Sahu paper, like this. Suppose these 3 paper, 3 citation I have done, then I will say references, and the moment I click here, insert bibliography, this will automatically come. You need not type this. Number 1. Number 2, suppose your paper, this was as per the Nature, you know, Nature MPG, Nature Publishing Group. Suppose my paper get rejected from Nature. So do I need to change manually all this style? No. Suppose now you want to submit paper to the Wiley journal. So you just click here and just select Wiley. So this automatically this style will get selected to the Wiley style. Correct? Now you see these are the various citation styles, and as we discuss more style, there more will come, right? This is the library page of Mendeley I was talking about. So you can make various folders here, add new, like folders like data science. You suppose you are working say like sounds, plant sounds. So then you can create something in folder name is here, sound in plant growth, right? Or you are working on a sparrow, so you can make a folder sparrow. So it's your choice. You can create a folder, right? And you can take the data from the online, these things. This is a few data about these various databases. So what I'm trying to say that this reference management software you try to learn, and if you make a open source software like Zotero and Mendeley, so you need not worry whether your college will support all those things, because these are the open source software. And people like me, there are many resource person. I am sure once you spend 1 hour, you will also become an expert in Zotero and Mendeley. So this will help you to organize your references in your research paper. That was the reason I talked about references and this reference management softwares, right? Let us come to the copyright. I think many of us, we are aware about the copyright, right? You will see copyright sign everywhere, book. We see everywhere, copyright, no part of this page can be, Xerox. And हम लोग करा जरूर लेते हैं, but always there is a, disclaimer from the publisher. So what is copyright? Copyright is a type of intellectual property that protect original work of the authorship as soon as the author fix the work in tangible form of expression, right? Suppose you publish, filed a patent, that is another aspect. Suppose Dr. Parna Banerjee, has published a paper, right? So once he published a paper on Wiley platform, then Wiley will have copyright of her research work, right? But suppose she published a paper under gold open access and she paid the APC, author publication charges, article publication charges. That case, she will have the copyright of that particular paper. So copyright is very necessary to protect the intellectual property, to protect the original work of the author, right? Otherwise, why people will motivated to write research papers if there is no copyright? Suppose today you write a paper, tomorrow somebody will remove your name, put his paper, and he will say, yeah, this is my paper, right? To protect the intellectual work of the author, this copyright law has been introduced. So copyright law, it belongs to the photography, painting, illustration, musician, book, poem, blog, post. So Copyright Act has come in effect from 1958 in India. So there are 6 times amendment: 83, 84, 92, 94, 99 and 2012. So last 2012 it was for the music and film industry and extension of the copyright protection in the digital environment, right? So the last amendment has come in 2012. So what is intellectual property? Intellectual property refers to the ownership of the tangible goods. Tangible matlab which is not visible, right? Is the original idea, right? You gave something, how to make a vaccine, like COVID vaccine. So that is a tangible goods. If somebody make a patent, you must have an open patent also. There was a concept of open during vaccine, that anybody can make the vaccine on those ideas, those concepts. So this refers to the digital media such as audio, video, right? And copyright originated in the age where experience of intellectual property in physical form, right? Copyright is the very old thing. It is from the book days, right? So what is the objective of intellectual property right? To encourage the creativity of human mind, right? मैंने जो कहा आपसे otherwise क्या होगा nobody will write, nobody will take pen, because being a author, being a researcher, you put hours and hours, weeks and weeks, months and months to discover something new. So that is very necessary to protect your intellectual work. So that is the reason intellectual property rules are there, right? And they are now be applicable in digital age also, right? So intellectual property rights can be sold, can be bought, can be leased, can be assigned, can cost, right? ये आप देखते हैं ना, जो बड़े-बड़े companies देखेंगे, अभी देखोगे, you must have seen Twitter has been bought by someone, right? So that is the thing, it keeps happening. So what are the categories of intellectual property right? One is industrial property, second is copyright. So copyright protect right related to the creation of human mind in the field of literature, scientific, music, art and audiovisual works, right? तो अगर आपको कोई पूछ, if somebody asks you what is copyright, now you can say why copyright is necessary. Copyright is necessary to protect your tangible goods, or you protect to your original ideas. That is the reason copyright is very, very necessary, right? What is the role of intellectual property? Economic. So these are the various things. I will share my PPT. You can go through this. There is a copyright office also in India, right? So there you will get lot of information, new amendments, everything. There is an intellectual property office also in India. Okay. So you can, you can attend their organizing webinar conference like this IPR awareness. So you can attend their online programs and all those things. So as I says, copyright, this is a complete PDF is available on the Google, and it is a Copyright Act 1957. And then this is the handbook also. There is a copyright law. So this is there is a lot of talk about copyright. Is the copyright protected in perpetuity? So no. What this is a very common. What is the term of protection of copyright? So see, general rule is that copyright lasts for 60 years. How many years? 60 years. Sarvani ma'am, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. So what is the term of protection copyright? 60 years, right? But you see here, in case of original literacy, music and artist work, 60-year period is counted from the year following the death of the author, right? So you see again, in case of the literacy, dramatic, musical and artistic work, 60 period is but in case of book, it is counted from the publication year, right? But in music industry, it is counted from the death of the author, right? Musical and artistic work, 60 period is counted from the year following the death of the author. In the case of cinematography, films, recording, photography, music, pseudonyms, works, intellectual organization, the 60 years period is from the date of publication, right? Is it clear? So in case of books, it is counted from the date of publication, but in case of music industry, it is counted 60 years from the death of that, so this particular, that artist or all those things. So what is the term of protection of copyright? So I have put here, so that general rule is that 60 years, but in case of music industry, drama, it is 60 years from the death of the artist or author. But in case of publication, books, everything, it counted from the date of the publication. So what are the challenges faced by the copyright in digital world? Just say you must have heard about this movie recently, Jug Jug Jio, right? So Jug Jug Jio movie was released, and same day night, this soft copy was, somehow got leaked, right? So what is the now? What will happen? That producer who has put lot of money will get less money because it got leaked on the internet. So people, they will not go and pay the money, be in the queue. They will see free copy available on the net. So these are the challenges: copyright, internet, multimedia work, software, and social media. So what is copyright in internet? So this is a very complicated area. Internet has been one of the major threat to the copyright for a long time, right? Copyrighted works on the internet includes news stories, images, graphics, books, screenplay, video, etc. Multimedia works, we know concept of multimedia extremely wide and encompassed. Now within that itself, you will see any new movies, sometimes it's come on the YouTube, not official channel, but some other channel where, people make a use of this. There are other, about various softwares like you see Microsoft. If you have a pirated version of Microsoft Windows, what will happen when you go for the upgrade or, some updates, your machine will get hanged, right? So that is the thing, so a software version, one should always have the copyright version of those, but only thing you need to pay extra. Social media also there is a copyright thing. So these days social media, we know everybody is very popular, right? And it might practice of materials, images, photographs. So what it says basically, suppose COVID time, many faculty member, used to ask whether we can share the, uh, freely available ebook to our students. I said yes, you can, but you should not put on the social media. First thing. Second thing, you should always, avoid by using, your official email ID. You can always, send by communicate by your personal Gmail ID. So that case, you will not, land up in a problem. So there are a few things, which you need to keep in mind. So copyright violation on social media platform can be into the form of reposting, saving, sharing of works protected under copyright, reposting, claiming ownership and using the content available. Now coming to the last part of this my presentation, that is a plagiarism. So plagiarism, I'll quickly because I would love to give online demo for 5 minutes. So plagiarism, I think you remember one thing, till your manuscript get published, it will called a manuscript, whatever paper you are writing. But once your manuscript is got published, then it will called as a plagiarism. So this is the difference between similarity and plagiarism. One before till it get published, your manuscript will call, if there is anything like any so that will you check there is some duplication, anything you check in the software, we will call as a similarity, 30% similarity, 40% similarity. But once it get published, that similarity will be called as a plagiarism. Then you will not have anything in your hand. There are few research ethics practice you need to follow. You need to avoid these things like infringement of your copyright law, plagiarism. You should avoid duplicate submissions, simultaneous submissions, conflict of interest, image manipulation. So these are the things you should avoid. So see, because of internet is very easy to copy, but because of internet is easy to catch also, right? For example, you see Sodh Ganga. Sodh Ganga, if you do anything wrong, and suppose your PhD get awarded, but after 2 years also somebody can take objection on your thesis, right? That is the reason I tell all the scholars, be do sincerely your job, maintain the honesty, and whenever you are taking somebody's idea, you please quote unquote give proper referencing, because a reviewer or editor or your guide may escape anything, these things, but long run this may trouble you, right? So now why people plagiarize? Because lack of time, they don't have time, they want to influence others, pressure to publish. So there are a few things. What is plagiarism? I think everybody knows. Suppose I take some matter. Suppose Dr. Parna Banerjee has published 9 papers. I take some, few paragraphs from her paper and I do not acknowledge her. That is a plagiarism. But I take 2 paragraphs from her paper, I acknowledge her, that is not a plagiarism. So what is the definition? The plagiarism means appropriation of another person's idea, process, results or words without giving appropriate credit. If I give appropriate credit, then that will not be a plagiarism. So हमें शर्माना नहीं है किसी को भी credit देने में. We should feel happy, we should feel proud to give a credit. Now what is the advantage if I give a credit, if I give a acknowledgement reference to Dr. Parna, so she will get 1 citation, right? So let her get citation because I used her work. Now what is that terminology? Terminology is first plagiarism. I think we discussed this is an act of stealing someone else's idea, right? Then there is a one fair use. So for academic purpose, you are allowed to make a use of certain portion. What is copying? We know copy paste. There is a one type patchwork. Patchwork, we know this is a most common, one of the most common plagiarism. So what is a patchwork? Patchwork basically, when the plagiarist borrows phrases and clauses from the original source and view them into own writing, correct? We take the idea but write in our own writing. There is a one more paraphrasing. What is paraphrasing? Paraphrasing means the rephrasing the words of another author's, putting your own, his or her thought in your own words. That is a paraphrasing. Acha, there are few softwares, where you put some paragraph, and make it your own, like Spinboard, re-article, that you write something, one paragraph, copy paste, and you can change in some other listing. But why I'm trying to say, explaining you did not do this, but you should be aware of such softwares as a faculty, as a students, because this considered as an unethical practice. Another thing, sometimes it changes the meaning also. So there you need to be very careful. Then there is a one unintentional, by you are not knowing, but you do some similarity. But nowadays there is no place for intentional, unintentional, because the punishment is same. So what is a self plagiarism? Suppose I published a paper, on say like history of Gwalior Fort. Suppose again now I am writing a one paper, forts in Madhya Pradesh. So I will quote Gwalior Fort also. So what I will think, oh, I already published a paper, so I'll take that para in my paper. But even though it is my paper, I need to quote unquote. If I do not quote unquote, it will consider as a self plagiarism, right? So I have to quote unquote. And when I quote unquote also, later it will be called as a self citation, because I am giving a cite, I am citing my own paper. So it will called a self citation. So you must have seen in Scopus or Web of Science, when you see your author profile, so it will show, for example, Dr. Parna Banerjee, 9 publications, H index is 20, citations are 100, self citations are 6. Among 100, self citations are 6. So there was a one notification also from UGC about what is self plagiarism. These are the various types of plagiarism: clone, control C, find, remix, recycle, hybrid, mess up. How to avoid? As I say, simple, honesty is the best policy, right? And then who will detect this? There are many cases where the punishment is severe for plagiarism, like IMTech lab. And then there was Madras University. So now we know in India, UG has come up with a guideline. There is a software you can check, what are the punishments. So people are aware about now things. There is a UGC care list also available on the website. You need to see before submission whether you are submitting a paper to the right journal. And there is a site you can search one by one that paper. You also be aware about clone journals. So see, there is a list is given of clone journals. For example, there is a journal Cell. Those who are in biology, they can make out Cell. So there will be a predatory journals, a clone journal, The Cell. So you may get confused. Like there is a one journal, Herald of Librarian Science, Herald of Library Science. Somebody make a clone of the Herald of Library Science or Herald of Librarianship. So you not make out really it is a clone journal. So you need to go and check word by word here, search. If it is available, then only you publish. So what are those journals? Group 1 list is based on the protocol by UGC care. Another list is based on the journal index by Scopus and Web of Science. These are the gadget notification which I have talked about. Integrity and prevention. It has come in 2018. Level 0, level 1, level 2, level 3. So level 0 up to 10%. You must be aware of this thing. Level 1 10 to 40, 40 to 60, and 60 and above. Right? So up to 10% is fine. 10 to 40 you need to revise. 40 to 60 you will be debarred from 1 year, and above 60. So what is my advice? You check and again and make sure it is less than 10%. Otherwise you do not submit. Here 10 for research publications, I am not in favor, because this basically depend on the publisher. Foreign publisher, if you are submitting, they are not following the UGC guidelines, so you need not worry about those things. What are the softwares? These are the free softwares. Please don't make use open free softwares because they are good for nothing. These are the software, Turnitin, and then there is another software that is called. So here you need to create a one class assignment. You can check. So what is the percentage in this paper? 31%. I'll give you a live demo. Just a second. these are the things you can check here. What are those, coming papers are from where you are copied. Then there is a, suppose these are your own papers, right? So suppose, see, what we do when we write a PhD thesis, we use our own papers, right? So it will show some similarity definitely because those papers have gone published. Now you want to remove. So you go to the exclude sources and your on paper, once you say exclude sources, you tick here 1, 2, 3, 4 and then you remove. So once you remove, these papers will go and your then similarity will be like, see, it was 85%. Once you removed, it is 36%. This is very much ethical and you can make a use of those things. Correct? Now there is one more Authenticate software that is also owned by all the CSR labs. They are using Authenticate. All the IITs, IISERs, NITs, they are using of Turnitin software, and most of the universities they are making a use of Original. This is the dashboard of Original. Old name is Okun. So there is a login button. Once you log in, you come to this. Then this is the dashboard of the administrator page, and where you can delete, and if you want to delete any paper, you put document ID, you can delete. And this is the dashboard of the user, where you can upload any document. Once you upload here, you need to select your address, you upload. Then once you upload, this is the file. So how to avoid plagiarism? As I say, always you need to maintain the, as I say, honesty is the best policy. Now I'm going to share the this just a second, live demo. I think I have another 10 minutes, so I'll just share. Shravani ma'am, you just confirm when this page is visible. Is my page is visible, ma'am? Turnitin page?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
ma'am. Thank you so much. So see, Turnitin page, what you do, what is Turnitin? I'll just logging out. Log out. Okay, so this is say like google.com. Okay, you say term 18. Term 18. This is one of the anti-plagiarism softwares. It is a paid, you have to subscribe. Like in our case, we pay around 2 lakhs rupees per annum. You go to the login button. Like now I log in. There's a 2 ID. If I ask by the library, it will be my own general ID, and if I ask enter by the SK Pathak, that is a admin ID. Admin ID means where I can add faculty members as a user, and I add delete also. So now, so what is you have to do once this Turnitin page is open? This is a dashboard. You have to create a class and one assignment. It's very normal. Once you click, once you okay, then there is a class, like here you need to submit. Before submit, there is a edit settings. I hope it is visible. Let me increase. Okay, so there is a this edit option. You have to say no repository. Otherwise, it will be a 100%. You have to then again take efforts to delete. So what are excluded? Bibliography you have to exclude. Why you have to exclude anyone? Because there is no original idea. Why you have to exclude quoted material? Because there is no original idea. Then as per UGC guideline, you can exclude 14 words in a line, right? And these are the things. Now I'll just tell you how to upload papers in Turnitin. So suppose submit button. Single, generally I use multiple, though I have one paper because it saves my time, right? So any paper you can take it here, like this fascinating life sciences. I just take this one paper, and so I am uploading one manuscript, Turnitin, to check the similarity, right? So I went and clicked on the paper PDF. Now this PDF is getting uploaded on Turnitin software. So you keep your questions ready. So we'll have a one question answer session, and then this session will be over. So what I'm trying to do, I'm showing you the live demo of Turnitin software. This Turnitin software was used by all the IITs, IISERs, NITs, few of the universities. It is a very renowned software. So there are two very good software, Turnitin and Authenticate. There are other softwares also like Plague Scan, and then made in India softwares, but still they are not very popular. So this paper, so if it is a small paper, it gets uploaded quickly. If there is a like PhD thesis or very big paper, it takes time. So I hope it should be done. Actually, I have not put anything ready, small paper, but anyway, let's wait for this. Suppose this paper you are uploading. So suppose this paper get uploaded, okay, then there is a view button. Suppose this paper. So after 30 seconds, this report will be ready. So like there was a paper on cancer. So what is the similarity? 39%. What is the similarity? Once I click on the this 39, this will come. Now can you see here this pop-up? Sarvina, can you see this page?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay, okay, ma'am. Now you see, this is the, you see, this was the PDF has come here, right? This is the PDF. So what is showing it is whatever similarity is there, it is showing. So when I click on this graph, it will show from this paper 10%, this paper 6%, right? So suppose I see, oh, these are my own papers, first 5 papers. So what I will do, exclude, and then I will say 1, 2, like 1, 2, automatic this will come, right? Because these are the these papers under that, right? So this all will go. So 37% now. Now I feel still this is my paper, this is my paper, this is my paper, this is my paper.
Sir, I think there is some problem.
What happened, ma'am?
Yes, now
It is
there is a
not
problem because the page is not changing.
not moving. Yes.
Okay. So maybe actually what happened, there is a small pop-up now. So maybe those small pop-ups are not being shown. So what I will do is just a second. It is a just a second, ma'am. I'm just trying to see how we can do. So I will go here. I will say cut. I will say share, and then I will go to this page. And now, are you able to see, ma'am, this page? All sources, right side.
Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you, sir. So thank you, ma'am. So see, now you can see this pop-up. So what I was trying to say, when you see this references, ना कहाँ से आपने copy किया है. Suppose what I am trying to see, suppose this is your own paper, right? What happens generally, your research paper, they are a part of your PhD thesis, right? So that should not be counted as a similarity. So that case you can always remove that that is you're right, all published paper you can remove. Generally few people they may quote unquote also the research paper, so software do not count. So suppose I want to remove this, I'll say exclude, and I'll say like, can you see the checkbox? Can you see, ma'am, this checkbox? Why I'm clicking?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So what I'm trying to do now here, let me again explain you. These were the papers which were shown कि यहाँ इस पेपर से इस पेपर में रिसर्च पेपर में सिमिलरिटी है. But मैंने देखा कि मेरी PhD thesis, in my PhD thesis, these four are my own paper. So what I will do, last button, can you see there is a exclude, right? So if I click here and say exclude, these papers will go out, right? But one need to be very careful when they make use this such options, right? So this is one of the thing with the Turnitin. Suppose this is done, now you click on the arrow key, current view, and then you can download the report. So it is saying preparing download, and then your PDF will come. I'll show you this PDF report, Turnitin report. And again I repeat, if you want to check any your manuscript in the Turnitin, you just share your manuscript with the Sarabani ma'am, and I'll be happy to help her. So it's taking some time to download this report, but I want to show you the report before I move to the original software live demo. So this report has downloading, and now you confirm whether this PPT is visible or not. Maybe otherwise I need to probably share this with you. So is this PPT visible, ma'am? This one, sorry, PDF review article on breast cancer. No?
No, sir.
Okay, just a second. So yes. So now can you see this 36%?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So this is actually report of Turnitin. So this will come like whatever file you have given, file name, and this was the role of functional food extract from management of breast cancer. Okay, so this is the thing, and now you can see here when you come down, it will showing है ना कहाँ से copy किया है, where you know made these things, you know put this similarity, so you need to be see, and last page it will show you the report. So what is the similarity? 36%. Out of 36, 23 is the you need not worry about, actually you may ignore. Basically these are the primary sources, secondary sources, tertiary sources, and it is showing whatever you have excluded, right? So now this is from here. Now what I will do, I'll show you also the page for this original software. Just a second. Yeah, can you see this page original?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you so much. So when you go to the Google, just say, you can also say original. Actually, the old name is Orkun, new name is original software. OU. So original login. So software name is original. It is provided by UGC to all the government colleges and universities. Now you click on the login button. Once you click on the login button, you come into the, this is for the as a user, this is for as a admin panel. So you just click on the web inbox. Okay, and then you just, this is my login ID password, and just say sign in. Okay, so this is the dashboard of original softwares, right? So abhi whatever similarity I have checked, those are visible here. Suppose you want to make a new check, you just go to the upload button, just say upload files. You take any paper, for example, chapter 1, suppose this one, chapter 1 I take, I select here, I go to upload. Right, so what I am doing, I am uploading one paper here, right? Now it will take some time. So meantime, let me open a new one, new report. Just give me a second, I'll just call you. Yeah, so this is the thing, actually you can download over here. I think I have got a call to attend one meeting. So now I think I am open to take question answer. So let us start the question answer session, and then quickly we can finish it out. Sarapni ma'am, over to you. If anybody has any question.
Thank you so much, sir. I am Bandana Mondol, convener of IQAC. Our question answer session is started. Do anybody has any question? Sir, in our chat box there are 2 questions.
Yes, let me open the chat. Yeah, so the first question I can see, what is the need of having several reference styles when one uniform format would be sufficient? Yeah, telling is very easy, but it depends on the publisher, because every publisher is having, and then every style is having their own flavor. If you see IEEE style, there is a numeric, numbers are there. So referencing style is the jurisdiction of the publisher. Of course, like institute like IISER or IIT Kharagpur, they have only one style when they have the style for PhD submission or project report. But in case of publisher, they have their own style, so we have no control over it. And it's always have to better to have a different style, because now there are softwares so you need not do manually, and it also increases the creativity. Now second question is that if I want to publish any chapter on my PhD thesis as a research paper, will it cause a self plagiarism? Yes, you can publish any chapter, any chapter or research paper. What people do generally, there is a rule like when you submit a PhD thesis, before submission you should have a 2 or 3 research paper, right? That is must in many of the, like in our institute there should be 3 international paper. So those papers can be a part of your PhD. That is no problem, right? So that is not a self plagiarism. See what is happened generally are first people publish a paper, then they write a thesis and it become a part of their thesis. I think this question is slightly different. It looks like first they submit the thesis, get awarded, then they write a book chapter on this. They can do that, but they need to quote unquote, they give the proper acknowledgement of their previous work, and then it will be called a definitely not a self plagiarism, it will be called a self citation. If we give proper citation, it is not a self plagiarism. It will be called a self plagiarism if there is no proper citation. I hope I have made my answer clear. I'll repeat it. If you give a proper citation, proper referencing, then it will not called a self plagiarism, it will call a self citation, right? Otherwise it will be called as a self plagiarism. Yes, any other question? Yeah, there is one more question. In case of review article, we are discussing about other people's work, but we are referring them to. Will it be plagiarism? Okay, let me say one thing. If there is, say, I think everybody knows review article, right? If you write a review article, you are likely to get more citations because more people read review articles. But anyway, coming to the question, in case of review articles, we are discussing about other people's work, okay, but we are referring them to. Will it not be plagiarism? No, you refer them, but you make you give a citation, you give a proper credit to that author. See, whenever you give any credit to the author in paper, give proper referencing, it is not a plagiarism. Okay, so don't get worry about plagiarism thing. Whatever you are citing, whatever you're reading, making a use, you give proper citation, proper referencing. That's it. Yes, any other question? Because I need to leave in 2 minutes. So if any other question, you can please, I request participant to please ask.
Sir, actually, I have one question.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Sir, AP and MLA, these two are referencing style. So which one is more appropriate for writing a paper for economics, especially as economics is my subject?
I think both are appropriate, but again, I would say we have a no choice generally, because what happens generally when you are writing, because only what is the difference between where one style there is a year is before written, one style year is after written. So in case of say like IISER Bhopal, so we follow one style. So that style everybody has to write his PhD thesis. There is a no choice. But I have seen few universities department wise they have a different styles. So what is my advice? Whatever style your institute is following, you blindly follow. We should not put our mind. Number one. Number two, whenever we are submitting our manuscript. For example, Dr. Sekhar is submitting a paper to IEEE journal. So that case, he is not having any choice but he has to write his manuscript in IEEE style. And as I says, IEEE, all the journals are having their own writing styles. So that you need to follow, right? And now there are publishers, if you are not able to write anything, even they help you to write, but they charge. Suppose you have a raw manuscript, you want them to edit as per their this thing. So they will slightly charge, but they will edit your the style. Then we know there are many, in case of grammar, there are many Grammarly softwares like Grammarly, Ginger, but that's a different aspect. There also publisher help. Suppose you want to correct your paper Grammarly, they will charge and they will correct your paper. Yes.
Thank you, sir. Sir, one more question is there in chat box.
Let me check. If I have published a paper in a normal journal, then can I publish it again in no, you cannot publish. You have to slightly change, especially though it will be unethical, but I can advise. Definitely you need to change the title and you need to slightly change the content, and that paper you can cite in this paper, right? This is the there is a number series of papers. But you cannot do same thing in UGC care list. Whatever happen. You need to write a fresh manuscript.
Any more question?
Yeah, we may take the last question because I need to leave for a meeting.
Sir, I think there is no more questions.
Okay.
So I would request Dr. Krishnanko Shekhar Gayan, our Assistant IQAC Coordinator, to give the vote of thanks.
Thank you. On behalf of our college, principal, IQAC and IPS cell of Raja Peary Mohan College, I am grateful to the speaker, Dr. Sandeep Pathak, Deputy Librarian of IISER Bhopal, for giving us a detailed idea about referencing different style of citations, H index, impact factor, copyright, plagiarism, because we often come across this situation while submitting the papers or while publishing the books. Hope we get everyone, including the students, were also attending this program. So I think your presentations with live demonstrations on certain softwares to check plagiarism and other styles of changing the reference styles, etc., would be very helpful for all of us. I thank you on behalf of everyone of this cell for your kind words, as well as for giving us an opportunity to attend this particular webinar, because you have a very busy schedule, we all know, but still you have found out some time for us. Thank you for that. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Shall we end the
Thank
meeting
you.
now? Thank you all. Thank you. So we are closing the meeting now. Thank you.
Thank you.